Welcome. Hey, let's go ahead and get started because we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. So 7 years ago, my wife Jennifer and I, we got invited to speak at a real estate investing conference in Phoenix, Arizona. And that's actually where I met Lamborghini Boy. He was there and he was telling us about these huge development projects he was doing down in Chicago. And I wanted in, okay? 2 weeks later, as I'm sitting down at the dining room table, about to sign the paperwork with Jennifer, Jennifer says, "Are you sure about this? Do you really know this guy? Like, how do you know this is actually going to come through?" And I said, "Jennifer, we got this. Like, this is exactly what we need to grow in our business. We've been investing for 7, almost 8 years. We need this next step. This is the next step for us. And I know what I'm doing." So we jump in. 6 months later, I get a phone call from Lamborghini Boy's partner. Lamborghini Boy partner says, "Hey, Nate, we're upside down on the project. You got to jump ship right now." Upside down? Are you kidding me? No. Jump ship? There's no way. That's not even possible. Like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make sure that these projects finish. So I'm stepping in. I'm jumping in here. I've got everything invested into these things. I'm going to make these things work. So I sell our sailboat. I sell all of our rental properties. I'm like selling everything we've got. I'm packing up duffel bags in the back of the car. And then I'm looking at Jennifer and my then 2-year-old son, Bianco, and I'm ripping them away from our house next to the lake in Medina, Minnesota. I'm moving to Chicago where we're going to share a 1-bedroom apartment together. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to finish these projects. And I did. I finished the projects. I finished them, except now I'm broke. Broke where I have to ask Jennifer to start cleaning houses. Broke where I end up having to go through bankruptcy. Now, I immediately got back to work. I started finding people doing interesting things on social media to get properties, and I started modeling it. And the next thing I know, we've got $40,000 in our bank account. Now, after this, like I'm energized. I start running as fast as I can. And the next thing I know, within 6 months, we hit $500,000 in revenue. $500,000. Bianco got his own bedroom again. We put him in piano lessons. And like, I'm still doing the right things. I'm sharing a car with Jennifer. I'm tithing. I'm even working out of the spare bedroom as our office. And that's when I got the call from our attorney. And the attorney said, "Nate, you got trouble." "What do you mean trouble? Like what kind of trouble?" He's like, "Nate, the bankruptcy trustee just doesn't know how it's possible that you went from 0 to $500,000 so fast. They don't think it's plausible. They think that you hid assets or you hid money or something's wrong." "But no, Ben, Mr. Attorney, just show them everything. Show them the truth. Show them all the documents. I've got nothing to hide. You can show them everything. Show them all the financials." "Nate, it doesn't work like that. The way that this works is that whatever they can convince the judge will stand, and it just doesn't look good to go from 0 to $500,000 so fast." Next thing I know, my life is consumed with depositions. They even like deposed my own bookkeeper. They're going through everything. I turn to my mother-in-law and I ask her if she can pray for us. And she puts us into her Zoom prayer group, and we're praying with 50 mothers and fathers from around the world. We're praying this week, in the next week, in the next week. And then I get a call from the attorney and he says, "Nate, they dismissed the case." Hallelujah. This is the first time that a trustee has dismissed the case like this before it went to a judge in this district. Like, this is huge. But moreover, it put me in a position to clear my name, to show that I was actually showing the truth the entire time. And now I'm in this spot in life where I've been working with sellers going through the same thing that I went through, a really tough patch. And I've been able to pair them with buyers who are buying properties really fast. And fast forward with some time, I'm going to show you where you step in during this specific moment in history. You think or you wonder if there's some people out there right now that are struggling? Or you wonder about this foreclosure moratorium that just officially announced that it's going to come to an end right here, right now, within 10 days? How about that? There's people out there right now that need our help. And I want to show you how to bridge that gap. I want to show you how they will come to you literally and ask you for help. We're not talking about cold calling tonight. We're not talking about driving for dollars. We're not talking about crazy bandit signs or anything like that. We're talking about sellers coming to you, asking you for help. And no, we're also not talking about paid ads. I might cover them a little bit, but paid ads is not the focal point. More than 60% of the revenue I'm making right now closed out 3 deals so far. We're at least pending to close 3 deals so far this week alone. It's coming from organic social media efforts. And no, it's not going and piggybacking on someone else's deal or going into someone else. It's none of the stuff that you're thinking. This stuff we had to perfect, especially since last October when the election cycle got real crazy and there were people all over the board, like just really digging in, the political candidates running ads. Most media out there became totally useless for regular guys and gals like you and like me. So we had to get creative. We had to figure this thing out again. And guess what? We've completely cracked the code. I'm going to unveil it. I'm going to show it to you. We're going to do it together. Okay. So how does this work? Let me actually share screen on this. So then you can see it. We'll pull it up. I want to show you. So like this here, this is 2 settlement statements. This is a purchase side and the sales side. I had this sweet lady call me and her name was Cynthia. And Cynthia said, "Hey, Nate, I'm in foreclosure right now. I know that my time is limited. I'm behind for a long time. And I want to see if I can get anything out of the property." And then she told me that she was a widow and she had kids. And so right away, I was just trying to do whatever was right for her. I even tried to refer her to a realtor and she said, "Nate, I don't have time. Like I'm already past that time point." And so I looked at the situation. I said, "Okay, let me see what I can do." I got in there. I put the deal under contract. I worked with someone to try to start finding a buyer for it and just do a straight wholesale deal. It was really looking grim. Cynthia came to me and said, "Hey, Nate, I totally understand that you're not going to find anything. I just appreciate you guys so much trying to help. Thank you so much. God bless you." And I said, "Cynthia, just stay in faith, man. Stay in faith. Pray about this. See what happens." Next thing I know, we get a buyer for it. And I call Cynthia and I say, "Hey, just go to the title company. Go to the title company. See what they got for you." She's like, "Well, what is it?" And I said, you just go to the title company." She calls me later that day in tears, bawling about how she got this. You can see here on the settlement statement, it's kind of small on your screen, but maybe I can blow it up. No, I can't. But anyways, she called me bawling because she got the equity from her property that she thought she was about to lose. She completely thought it was gone. And then we were able to save it by just doing right by her. Okay. So then fast forward a little bit. We really were touched by her whole story and her life and whatnot. And then we were able to do this. We got this check and surprised her again. This is her the day that we gave it to her. She wasn't expecting it at all. My son walks up with this giant check for her and gives it to her. And anyways, if you knew the story about her kids and all that kind of stuff, like you'd feel compelled to move like this too. But this all came from the deal. Okay. This came from us having an opportunity to serve her. And then guess what? We served her at the highest level. And right now, tonight, I'm excited for you because what you're about to experience will literally change your business, if not even change your life, if you're open to it. Okay. This broadcast can literally transform it. I'm not joking about that either. Today, I've spent all day today with 27 investors from around the country. And it was staggering to me, the ones that are crushing it, doing big deals. Like a couple of the people that are my students right now, they were making like 25K plus per month. And then there were some that have just started, brand new. And the staggering difference between the two is that the ones that were just open to learning, open to new things, like open to trying this whole crazy social media thing, those ones were the ones that were crushing it. The ones that were stuck in old ways that would say, no, I already tried that. Or somebody else tried that I knew and that wouldn't work. Those are the ones that struggle. I don't want you to be the struggling kind. I want you to be the one that's absolutely crushing it right now. In this day and age, you do not need to go and chase sellers. It is a very bad positioning for you. Do not do that. If you are in the midst right now of cold calling or driving for dollars or chasing sellers or buying some crazy list, you are in the wrong business. It's not effective today. Can you get a deal from it? Yeah, sure, you can. I can still get a deal from a bandit sign if I try hard enough. But is it the easiest way to do this business? No, it's not. Everyone else has already bought that same list and they've cold called that same seller. So for you, it's nowhere near as effective, okay? So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you to go through this. Don't just passively watch this as a webinar. If you want any kind of transformation for you and your business, then you have to have application first. So when I ask questions, when I throw things out, it's time for you to write in the comments. Use that comment thread. Let's go back and forth, okay? I'm watching the comments as we go. I'm going to be taking questions at the end. I want to make sure that we actually have this impact to you so that you remember this stuff 3-4 weeks from now, okay? And I'm also asking you, since you registered for this and you wanted to come to this, you're sort of giving me permission to help push you, okay? To be a good coach and actually to push you. But I want to formally ask you for your permission. Can I push you tonight? Can I stretch your mind a little bit into some techniques that are working for us right now that led us to 3 deals this week alone? And that's not just a fluke. That's a pretty consistent thing for us. Do I have your permission? If I do, then please type the words permission granted. Permission granted in the chat. Type those words for me so then I know that I have your permission to push you, okay? The life that my kids, my wife, and I get to live right now, it's been forever changed by the framework that I'm about to show you. Okay, we're going to cover that. And I know that for you, it also can be life-changing if you let this stuff sink into your business. Okay, if you're ready to go, let me know. Just type "let's go" in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. For those of you that I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Nate Armstrong. I will skip the formalities on myself because this isn't about me tonight. This is really about you, but I do want to point out one thing. My order in life is that I'm a man of God, number 1. That's first and foremost for me. I'm a husband, number 2. I'm a father, number 3. That's my orders. And then comes this whole work stuff. I work hard, don't get me wrong, but I got my priorities straight in life. If you're wondering, like, who the heck is this guy on the other end? I want to show you a couple quick things just so you know that I'm not some crazy lunatic. I promise I didn't roll out of bed and just decide to start teaching this stuff. I do this stuff actively every single day. After I went through that real tough spell that I told you about, I had an opportunity to get this. This is my first ever $100,000 check. First ever $100,000 month. We cleared that hurdle. And then we took it even way past that. We made the Inc. 500, which stands for the fastest growing privately held companies in the country. We were able to do that by God's blessing. I know that 100%. And also a really solid team that we built around us. We're going to talk about some of that stuff tonight. But I just want you to know that you're not sitting on this with some person that just rolled out of bed, thought teaching was a good idea. I have real life experience. And for you, the benefit is that you're going to learn from it. A lot of people call me the number 1 go-to expert in the space for social media in real estate investing. I get called on by a lot of the big names to come into their team and help get this stuff set up because let's face it, since the whole shakeup last year, the terrible shakeup in our economy and whatnot, a lot of people have gone digital. They are on their phones. You cannot go to a restaurant right now without seeing husbands and wives looking down at their phones, not even having conversation with one another. At least part of the time they're staring down at these devices. Now, I don't like that in society. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm not going to be able to change that. I know that, not at least in a major way. So I'm going to at least get in front of the people where they are. Instead of trying to go put out some crazy sign or try to cold call people, let me get in front of them so then if they're interested, they can reach out to me. They can chase me and ask me for my help. Do you feel that? Let me know if you feel that. Type yay in the chat or yeah in the chat if you feel that. The days of the cold calling, they're numbered right now. They are. Especially with all these caller IDs with spam blockers and everything else, that cold calling thing, it's a tough road already, but it's just getting harder and harder every single day, okay? If you want your business to be able to grow higher, then we got to get off these old platforms. We got to get on with the new ones, okay? For that to happen, we also have to flush out some of the mental blocks. I call these things the gremlins that pop up and they steal things away from us. The gremlins that pop up and they say, nah, I already tried that. Or so-and-so tried that. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for me. I guarantee you what we're doing right now is totally different than what so-and-so tried. I guarantee it. Because I get to work with 7-figure business owners in the space, including my own team and what we're doing. And when I get to get brought into these other businesses, like some of the big names that you would know, I get to get brought into their businesses and go through their back end and see what they're doing. And I show them what works today and they're blown away. Absolutely blown away. So I know it's not the same. Totally know it's not the same. Okay. So for you, I'm gonna give you this little challenge tonight as we go through this. My company, my company, it's called Home Invest. That's our real estate company. It's a real estate brand. That's what we made the Inc. 500 with. The folks that we teach that are part of this Home Invest movement, we call them the Home Invest Tribe. Okay, they call themselves that, the Home Invest Tribe. So it's the HIT movement, HIT. Okay, I'm going to give you an invitation to become a HIT. Okay, To be able to do that though, we do business a certain way. We went from 0 to $10 million in real estate deals by following this framework, by following the HIT framework. This is the best and most proven path that I am aware of to get you from 0 or wherever you're at, or even if you're already scaled, like let's just say you're doing 10 grand per month. If you want to be able to get up to this $10 million mark, this is the only framework that I know that can get there. The only one. Can you do other stuff like fix and flips? Sure. But what do you think is going to happen when the market churns? Let's see here. Do you think the market's going to go up forever and ever and ever? What do you think? Every single time that there's a million fix and flip TV shows, it's a pretty good sign that the market's getting hot, real hot. And it's great to sell properties during that time, but when the market churns, which it always does, history repeats itself. Usually every 7 to 10 years there's a cycle. This one's a little longer, but usually when that happens, a lot of people get caught with their pants down. They get caught in an unfortunate position, and I don't want that to be you, okay? There's a different way to do this business. I have rehabbed hundreds of houses, literally. I've had hundreds of rehabs go through under my belt. Right now, I am not rehabbing houses. I'm also not playing landlord. I'm not chasing toilets or tenants, not right now. No, I'm doing something little off the grid, little off the radar. I'm helping sellers that are going through this whole foreclosure freeze lift, the foreclosure moratorium that's being lifted. I'm helping those sellers, and I'm getting paid very well to do it with open book profits to the sellers. How's that one for you? Okay. How are we going to do this? Well, here's the thing. My trainer, my physical trainer, for me to work out every day, when I needed to go from like a little bit chubby, overweight to getting back in shape and getting fit and healthy again, so I'm a good, healthy husband and a good, healthy father for my boys, he challenged me. He challenged the poop out of me, to be specific. He said, no sugar, and you're going to work out 5 days a week, and you're doing it with me the entire time on video. I'm not giving you a list for you to go try on your own. No, you're doing it with me on video. I'm going to hold you accountable. Whew. I've dropped almost 15 pounds since he put me on that regiment. 15 pounds. So how are we going to do this? I am going to be here fighting for you. I am going to be your trainer tonight. I'm going to push you to do the things that we're doing. Okay. I'm also going to open up a possibility for you to get a little more help with all of this stuff. Okay. We'll cover all that today on this call. Okay. So if you're wondering, like, if you're saying, well, Nate, hold on. I don't know if I'm just a wholesaler, or Nate, no, I'm just a flipper, or Nate, I'm just a landlord. No, you're not. No, you're not. You were made by the number one, the awesome, the one and only creator of the universe. You are special. If you haven't heard that in a while, you need to. You might have to listen to the replay of this too. You are special, okay? You are not an accident. You were meant for what you really feel called for. If you feel called for this real estate stuff, but it just hasn't stuck yet, then stick with me tonight, okay? I want to get through this. So let's go to the next part, okay? How can this work for you? Well, let me show you. I'm actually going to walk through the 3 big ways we're moving these sellers to us, okay? This is how it works. Everyone thinks like, I'm going to jump into this whole marketing thing and I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to market to the masses of people. Let me tell you, that is the biggest mistake that people make when they get in this business. If you go out there with these guns blazing, we buy houses, any of them, all of them, mobile homes, apartment buildings, you're just holding a giant sign that says, run away from me. Can you get 1 or 2? Sure, you can. But people really like specialists. So I want you to learn this word niche. Niche, okay? Niche means a very special group. And I'm going to teach you how to do niche marketing during this section, okay? When I first got into this whole marketing thing, like I was paying other people to do it. So I paid some agencies. You can see here, I sent 12 grand, 3 separate payments of $4,000 to this one agency to basically build all this stuff out. Well, I had a terrible experience, to say the least. Maybe you've been there before. I talk to investors every single week that are going through it. They hire an agency and they just didn't get what they wanted to get. I'm not going to name drop any of the agencies or anything like that right now, but if you've lived through it, you probably know what it's like, okay? Why does that happen? Well, I hired a second one. I hired a third one. Literally, like one of them, I asked for a refund. The other one, I said, well, hey, at least can you give me the stuff you built for me? And then the agency said, well, no, we can't, because although we charge you a lot of money for it, it's on our platform and we can't just give you our platform. That's on our platform. And I got so frustrated. I'm like, oh man. And I've tried them all. Like I've tried the real estate specific agencies. I've even tried the real estate investor specific agencies, and none of them got me positive results that I can sit here and brag about. And I went through chat bots. Like I won't even belabor this, but here's the thing. Agencies don't speak the same language that you and I do. They don't speak motivated seller. They don't have a real estate investor that's actively running your ads. They just don't. Okay, so they don't feel the pain of when you spend money on ads either. That ad spend that goes out every single week or every single month, they don't feel that pain. That's your money. No one cares about your money more than you care about your money. So this equation with the agency, it's a hard one in the beginning, okay? They get paid their fee whether you get a deal done or not. That's just the way it goes. So there's no aligned incentive, okay? They also, like the person that's running your ads, they're probably running ads for the local grocery store or the local realtor down the street too at the same time, or the local attorney. And therefore, like their focus is split. They're not a specialist by any means. And at the very least, like they're probably practicing mass marketing techniques. They might know the digital platform, but they're practicing mass marketing. I told you myself personally, since last fall, I have made a shift. I am no longer relying on ads at all. I ran ads for a long time, but I'm no longer. Right now, I'm organic. And no, it's not just going and posting in people's groups and harassing people on social media. Not at all. I have sellers coming to me every single week. I have buyers coming to me every single week. I even have private lenders coming to me, okay? Because we're doing this the right way. We're not taking this shotgun approach like everybody else and hoping for the best. We're treating this more like a surgeon, a surgical approach where we go in and we get exactly what we need. I did this when I basically took my own direction change. After getting frustrated with all these agencies, I took over. I took over my ads. I took over my organic. I paid attention when people fell off the radar. I created a whole ecosystem where these sellers can keep coming to me and these buyers can keep coming to me. I created this, okay? The sequences of emails, the text messages, you name it. I figured out how to do it myself. And I was able to do it once I niched down, okay? I'll talk about this. I'll talk about this niching with Scott, okay? Scott came to me. I've known Scott for a while. He came to me. He was the number one home buyer in his area by far, okay? Not even a close second. I think in a national competition, he was with one of those franchise companies. In a national competition, he was number 2 on the year, number 2 home buyer on the year in the nation, okay? We're talking about a serious dude. He calls and says, hey, I see what you're doing on social media. Like, I want some of that, but it looks too good to be true. What's happening with it? And I'm like, well, let me show you. And what we did is we went in and we built this thing for him, organic, paid. We did both sides. And then I had to like drill down with him. And I'm like, I got to know your niche. And he tells me his niche. He really likes working with probate sellers. So what is a probate seller? I'll explain it really briefly. A probate seller is like when mom or dad die and they pass the property down to the kids. That goes through a process called probate, okay? So probate sellers, what we have to do to serve that niche, if that's our niche, maybe it is for you, maybe it's not, but if it is your niche, I want you to practice this exercise. If I want to be able to get in front of the seller and attract them to me, whether it's organic or through ads, what I have to do is I have to ask them this question. I have to ask myself out loud, what keeps them up at night? What do they dread? What makes them literally wake up in the night thinking, you tell me in the chat, what keeps a probate seller up at night? What do you think it is? What do you think that they worry about? Monica, what do you think? John, what do you think? I'm looking over this way because that's where my comments are. But what do you think? Okay. What do you think it is that keeps them up at night? Yeah, this is good. Okay, good. Keep them rolling. So probate sellers, they're thinking about what to do with mom and dad's stuff. You don't call it junk, you call it stuff. They're thinking about the stress of going through the actual probate court. They're thinking about things like that. Like, I don't want to have to argue with my brother about what to do with mom and dad's house anymore. That's the kind of stuff that keeps them up at night. So we take these things, these same things that you're typing in the chat right now, And we go out and we create ads out of them, or we create organic material out of them. And then this is what gets sellers to come. So I'm just going to jam with you. So my post might go something like this. Are you tired of quarreling with your brother or sister about what to do with mom and dad's house? Hi, I'm Nate from Nate Buys Houses. I've been helping probate sellers just like you for the last 12 months. I can help you too. Here's how. Just like that. Or don't know what to do with mom and dad's stuff? Hey, I'm Nate from Nate Buys Houses. I can help you just like I've helped numerous other sellers in the area. I know what to do with mom and dad's stuff. For a quick call, press the button below. Boom. And I'm just jamming with you on the fly, but this is kind of how it goes, okay? So what ended up happening? So for Scott, here's what happened. Boom. I got 2 contracts today. Hallelujah. Awesome. And then he goes on and talks about like his costs and all that kind of stuff, but he was praising this. And then he makes this beautiful testimonial video. He ends up introducing us to another big name in the space. You may have bumped into him, Ron LeGrand. Ron has us come in and set up all of his ads and then refers us to students across the country. Now we're exposed to like 50 plus major markets across the country. And we got the pleasure of serving Ron at the same time. And here's the thing with all this, what's the most important part is that you have to serve a niche. Don't try this like big marketing, like a Super Bowl ad. Even a Super Bowl ad, if you really watch it, they carve down to a niche. They usually have like the characters that are in the Super Bowl ads, like if it's the Budweiser horses, like they appeal to the audience that they're looking for. They're very strategic with it. And you, for this kind of marketing, whether it's organic or a paid ad, we have to serve one niche too. So I want you to pick a niche. Don't try to go after everything all at once. Even if you know you can serve everyone, just pick one niche for marketing purposes. You can still serve the people if they come to you that are outside your niche, but you got to pick one for marketing purposes. Okay, secret number 2. Social media doesn't work for this stuff, Nate. I tried it. I posted on my own timeline. I went into some Facebook groups and tried to get some deals, but they're just a bunch of wholesalers and daisy chainers. This stuff doesn't work. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard that from people. And then when I get in there like a surgeon and surgically remove the cancer and get their mind that can be free so that we can actually get some work done, guess what happens? It outperforms any other method every single time. There is not even a second close comparison to what social media can do right now. Now, will social media be free, organic forever? I doubt it. I mean, paid ads, ad costs have rose so much over the last couple of years because these social media platforms, they know how valuable their platform is. So I expect that the organic stuff will continue to go away. It'll eventually be gone and it'll be a fully paid platform. Maybe a little bit of organic, but not much, okay? So social media, it does work. I promise you, I'll show you, okay? Now, think of it like this. It's kind of like if you're going to watch a movie, there's the old way, VHS cassettes. There's the new way, which is like Netflix and these streaming platforms. The old ways of advertising, like realtor offers. Right now, what's happening if you're making offers with realtors? Bidding wars, multiple offers, rejections, or if you do happen to get a deal accepted, because everyone knows this now, at least God knows this, is that there's more realtors than there are houses listed for sale. That is a scary statistic. There are more realtors than houses listed for sale by a long shot. Okay, so there's like a piranha fest on every property that gets listed. So guess what? There's bidding wars. And if you happen to get one accepted, then what they're going to say is, I want your highest and best, and I want $10,000 non-refundable earnest money. And they throw the book at you. And I just don't do business that way. No way. I'm working with a seller that probably isn't even going to call someone else. They're probably just going to work with me. And you know how much earnest money I'm going to put up? I'm going to put up $1. One whole dollar bill. Okay? Because I'm working directly with the seller. There's no broker in the middle demanding these unrealistic expectations. Stop playing that game. If you're still playing the realtor game, stop playing that game. I don't want you to run over the top of the cliff. When the market churns, if you're the one putting up these massive earnest money checks and the market churns, ouch. Instead, start going direct to seller. Have the sellers come to you. Okay, what about bandit signs? Bandit signs have a time and a place. They do, but they're annoying. Let's face it. They're a pain in the butt to put out. If you hire someone to do it, then you'll get calls like I did. I got a call from the local police department saying, hey, you want to come pick up your signs? Someone dumped them in the library dumpster. Don't put those signs in our neighborhood. Like that's the kind of calls that I would get when I do the signs. Like it's not so fun. Okay, what about auctions? A lot of auctions are still banned, but some of them are starting to reopen. They can be good, but they're really risky. You go to an auction, you're not putting down $1. You're going to put up $5,000 to $50,000, sometimes 100% up front. And then sometimes those auctions don't even let you tour the property first. Like, it's just a higher risk game. I don't want to play that game either. I've taken my risks in this business. I don't need to anymore. I'm in a spot where I feel very, very blessed to not have to take those risks. I want maximum reward with minimum risks. What about yellow letters? Buy those lists. Send out direct mail. Cold call these people. That's what they say. Cold call them. You'll get deals. There's 30 other people in your market that already bought that list. That's public record. Anyone can buy that list. Anyone can go after that. I've got a friend that he does our stuff, social media, plus he still makes cold calls, right? And he's making cold calls, but he's got a whole floor of people in Mexico. He's got 6 VAs in Mexico that work full-time for him, just dialing every single day, day in and out, pounding the phones. They're calling hundreds, if not thousands of people every single day just to turn up a couple deals a month. So unless you're going to have that kind of operation, the whole like buying list thing, I'm sorry, it's just a painful one for me, okay? But what happens with most people is that they jump around. They try this little like thing like a short sale. Then they try expired listings. Then they go to probates and bandit signs, and they just keep jumping and jumping. And then they get to something like Facebook ads, and they're like, that doesn't work. Or organic Facebook, that doesn't work. Tell you what, all those because it's too hard or too technical or whatever they think it is, that gremlin in their head that stops them, that's good for you and me. That's good for us because that's less people to compete with. I will take those. Bring it on, okay? So this whole social media platform, the new way to do this, I like to do it organically, okay? Yes, ads still work. They do if you're really good at that game. But the organic side right now is crushing it for us. The deals that we're closing this week or have already closed, the 3, those are organic. Organic. We didn't pay a penny for ads. No way. Okay, so how does this work? Well, a couple things. I'll give you some pointers on this, okay? Number 1, you got to set up a business page first. It's got to be an actual business page, but I want it to look like a fellow human being. Notice my page in the background, like this is Jennifer Buys Houses. That's my wife, Jennifer. And we set up a business page, but it's got her face all over it. Okay. Jennifer Buys Houses. It doesn't look like some big national corporate thing. Yes, I've got one of those big companies, Home Invest, and I've tried marketing with it. It doesn't do as well. The small local investor just does better. Okay. I prefer a female as the face of the company. Doesn't have to be. That's not totally exclusive, but I definitely prefer a human being over a company name. Definitely prefer that. Okay, but I do find that Jennifer Buys Houses beats Nate Buys Houses. Not by much, but a little bit. Okay, you got to be human. This is a social platform with fellow humans. They don't want to see big corporate talk. They want to see you and I being authentic with them. With my 27 students that I had today that we were teaching, like I was just pouring into them. I was giving them everything. Like literally, I showed them how I do this live stream kind of like this. And I did one on Monday night, and I literally sold a house in Wisconsin to a buyer that lives in California because of the live stream. Imagine that. I've never met the buyer. Buyer's never been to the property before, but we were able to start to build some rapport through a platform like this. Now, does it replace the good old-fashioned handshake? No. I wish I could sit down with you and have coffee. I really do. I wish I could sit down with you and have coffee, because I bet you by the end of that coffee, you would totally get the stuff. You would. And we'll just do our best, though, through this video. We might as well. And you should be using it, too. Well, Nate, I'm afraid to do a live stream like this. Okay, great. We'll get somebody else on your team to do it. Okay? But one way or another, we got to get your name out there. Okay? We'll get your name out there so that you can start to actually make commerce or make business with these folks in different areas. The world has shifted. It's shifted right here. There's 2.85 billion Facebook users. 2.75 billion of those users are on their smartphone, their mobile device. Okay, so we got to be there too. Okay, cool. Let me jump into this now. Okay, so these leads that come in, these people, these are human beings. I call them leads, but these are human beings that are coming in, whether it's buyers, sellers, or private lenders. And like they do these things that I first thought were crazy. Now it's just normal. But like you can see here on your screen, Sarita, she actually saying on here, she's tagging her friend Fernando Rod. This is like, imagine if you put out a bandit sign and someone called you and said, hey, you know what? I'm not selling, but my friend Fernando's selling. You should call him. That's basically what Sarita just did. Now I can click on Fernando. I can message him. I can even call him if he's got his phone set up through Messenger. And I can be talking to Fernando just like that. I've never seen any other lead source do stuff like this, but social media does. Okay. Or this person like literally just sends us a message out of the blue. Hey, saw your post. I got a property over here I'm looking to sell. Fantastic. Why are they doing this? They feel like they know us. They feel like they trust us. Facebook gives us that trust. There's other platforms that do it too, but we're talking about just Facebook tonight. We do a few different platforms, but Facebook is the big driver. So I'm going to stick on that for tonight. Okay. They can click on my profile. They feel like they can stalk me a little bit, see what I'm about. And then like for us, my time is the most valuable thing that I have. I know that by far. If I wanted to like double my monthly results and I did it with like cold calling, I'd have to call double the number of people. That'd be so painful. But with social media, I can literally click my mouse and double my results or triple my results or 10x my results. And so I just want you to be cognizant about that. We're talking about something that's night and day difference. There's no heavy lifting with this. This is digital. So it just makes it so much easier. So there's a lot of reasons why social media beats these other things out that we've talked about, but social media literally does beat them out. Hands down, time is the most valuable asset that we all have, okay? Next, secret number 3. A lot of people will think, well, Nate, hold on. You know, in my area, that's how it always starts, right? In my area, it's different. Everybody already knows everybody. If I go on there and I post a deal, everyone in town already knows about it. That's this myth that people have in their head. And if you're having that gremlin right now, let me help you flush that, okay? Let me help you flush that. The reality and the truth that I'm going to show you is that people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. Doesn't matter if it's in person or it's digital, they're going to do business with folks that they know, like, and trust. They have to have that established before they're actually going to trade money for value. They have to, okay? Sometimes it comes fast, sometimes it takes longer, but they have to. I got this property, 227 Western, under contract. It came from someone that was in an REI club. Okay, you remember REI clubs before the whole shakeup? REI clubs were like a cool place to go and network and whatnot. Well, at the REI club, the person that gave me the deal, she sat in the row in front of me. And then I took that deal, I put it under contract, and I liked it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to keep this one. And then I talked with my wife about it. And my wife said, well, hey, you know, we got this other project. Why don't we just wholesale this one? And I'm like, well, okay, let me see. And I turn around and I'm talking to the guy in the row behind me. His name's Chuck. And Chuck's looking for a deal. And so I assign my contract. He goes and looks at the property the next day. He tells me he loves it. And then I assign my contract to him. So I assign my contract to him and my spread in the middle is around 25 grand. The original wholesaler, she made a really good fee up front too. The seller who sold it to her was happy as a clam that she came along and was able to buy the property. So we've got this like chain of events. It was the chain of a deal from literally someone that sat in the row in front of me. She was either 1 or 2 rows in front of me, somewhere in that range. And then it got sold to the guy behind me. Now, why didn't she skip me and sell the property to him? Tell me in the chat. If everyone knows everyone, why didn't she just turn and sell the property to him? Because everyone knows everyone, right? That's what they say. Everyone knows everyone. Yeah, you got it. Truly true. John, nice to see you. I'm looking over here because that's where my comments are, but nice to see you. Melody, you nailed it. She trusted me. She trusted me, and then my buyer trusted me. The other thing is that those two, even though they're in the same group, like this is the same exact group, we all pay membership dues to come to this place. They don't talk. They don't get together and actually network. And not everyone knows everybody, even in the same small group, okay? So just keep that in mind. So with the social media, like this makes the world much smaller because now we've got cities of people, groups of people all in one spot online, and we can reach out so much faster, like lightning speed, but it just makes it easier for us. But not everyone knows everyone. Not everyone does, okay? People are gonna work with those that they know, like, and trust, okay? So I want to introduce you to Jennifer. This is Jennifer and her husband, Joe, 2 incredible people that I got to work with them. Jennifer called me in the midst of the whole shakeup when the economy was just nutso a little while back. And she didn't want her husband like being unsafe during that time because it was a scary time for everything. And she's like, hey, I'm furloughed from work right now. I'm a teacher. We'd like to do more with this real estate stuff. We just need help getting sellers to come to us. And then really what my goal is to get my husband to leave his job so that he can work with me from home. I want to retire him from his job. I'm like, wow, that's ambitious for someone that's, coming from off the bench a little bit, kind of cold, English teacher, jump into real estate and get this whole thing going. But if you are motivated and you're ready to go, let's do this. And so guess what? We get to work. She starts crushing it to the point that not only did she like fulfill her dream of leaving her job, but she fulfilled her big dream of getting her husband, Joe, to leave his job. And this guy was a really high paid CFO. I think he was a CFO at his a major dealership up in the Northeast, major dealership. And she was able to get this business spearheaded with his help to get him to leave that job and work in real estate full time. And guess what? I see them pumping stuff on social media all the time. They're just movers and shakers. So like when I see this, I'm like, yes, I love it. I love it. So congrats to Joe and Jen. She wrote some really nice stuff when she made that post for us, but it still touches me to this day. Like when she says, hey, you're more impactful than you'll ever know. Like I my heart goes out to people like this. And anyways, I got a question for you. Did Moses make it to the promised land? There's some interesting debate on this. Let me know in the chat. Did Moses make it to the promised land? Did he make it to the promised land? We all know Moses as like, he's the guy that brought the Israelites out of slavery. He was a hero. He brought the 10 commandments. He led his people for a long time during this transition period. But did he make it to the promised land? John says, no, you're right. Spot on. No, Moses didn't make it to the promised land. He didn't. He got stuck in some old beliefs. Okay. So for you, your life has to be congruent in this. Okay. You can't like be thinking one thing and then doing another. People feel that. They know that. You got to be totally congruent with this. So if we're going to talk about being part of like the HIT movement, what we've described so far, getting sellers to come to you, being open book with them, building a rapport and building trust with them, helping them, actually serving them. You got to be able to walk that actual walk. You can't just make it a talk. That's the only way that this business really works. When you're really serving people, they can feel it when you're sitting down at the dining room table with them, negotiating, as some people would call it. I don't even feel it's a negotiation. I feel like I'm advising them and helping them. If you want that kind of deal flow, then you got to actually be congruent with that lifestyle too. Okay. So the way it works is this. With us, our team is working right now on our business, which is a 7-figure wholesaling business. Call it wholesale if you want. We do some of our rentals. We do some subject twos or wraparound mortgages, like the property I'm standing in right now is a wraparound mortgage. We do all these different things, but the main funnel for us is bringing sellers in that need our help. That's the top of it. I'm non-negotiable on that part. Like if you're chasing deals, if you want that, we're not the team for you. But if you want sellers or buyers to come to you and ask you for your help, then I'm going to give this invitation. Okay. I'm going to pop up for you on your screen a chance for you to have your business audited by my team, the team that does consultations for other 7-figure real estate companies. We get to see behind the scenes of what's going on in their business. We get to advise them, and then we get to share this information with you. Okay. So here's the thing. If you are at a spot where you're like, hey, this all sounds great, but I want to go deeper. I at least want to explore it. Then I encourage you to do this. Jump onto this site. You can book a call. To make it easy, literally you just type social media with Nate, socialmediawithnate.com, socialmediawithnate.com. If someone could write that in the comments for me too, I'd really appreciate that. So then people can click it, socialmediawithnate.com. My team or myself will jump on with you. We'll jam. We can make it a short call. We'll do a quick audit. If this looks like something that we can actually help you with, we'll lay out a game plan for it. If you want our help to execute that game plan, just ask us and we can talk about that. We can talk about what that would look like. If you just want the game plan, that's totally cool too. Either way, it starts with us doing an audit on your business. That's the only way that we'll know if we can actually serve you or not. It's the only way that we'll know if you can actually qualify for this whole HIT movement that we're about. treating sellers the right way, being open book with them. It's how deals are made right now. If sellers wanted a lowball cash offer, which they don't right now, if they wanted a lowball cash offer, they would just go to opendoor.com. They would go to Zillow.com, because there's 15 companies just like that that do almost nationwide buying of properties, sight unseen. It's all by email. Eventually they send someone to inspect, but it's like so easy. Sellers, they're aware of that nowadays. They don't want that. If they did, they would have already gone to it. They want this. They want authentic connection. They want to know that you're not going to pull one over on them. They want to know that you're not going to screw them over. I'm just saying it like it is. And if you have that in you to actually serve and make profit while serving, then this could be a really good fit. Okay. If you're any of the latter that I mentioned though, then don't bother. It's not us. It's not what we're about. We're about service first, because I know in the end, when you truly serve people and you kind of have the kind of reviews from that, like when you truly serve people, your reviews jump to the top, you jump to the top, you make more than anybody else in your market. If you want to amplify your income this year, you've got to amplify your voice too. And it's done by social media. That's the place to do it. Okay. I'm going to open up for questions now. I think I can see them. I think I'm going to drag this screen over here so that it'll make it a little bit easier for me to try to see them. If I can't, then I will look at all the comments later and I will be certain to get back to you if for some reason I don't get it. But what questions do you have? What are the questions that are on your mind? And I'm going to kind of just chat kind of personal here too. Right now, we've got something coming that has never happened in United States history before. We had the whole shakeup last year. I don't say the word that starts with a P because when I'm streaming on a social platform, they for whatever reason, kill those videos and they kill those streams and all that kind of stuff. But I'll just call it the shakeup, okay? During that shakeup, a lot of panic was created. It shifted the market, to say the least. It shifted how sellers respond. A lot of sellers nowadays, they'll say, well, hey, I don't want people in my house. That's what they'll say. And we're working on with our 27 students today that we had to show them the ways around that, involving giving tenants of properties Visa gift cards and all kinds of crazy stuff to get around that. But that's the reality. The market has shifted. And there's one more shift that's just about to happen. And the shift is that basically for the last year and a half, foreclosures were frozen. Absolutely frozen, could not do it. They call it the foreclosure moratorium. So for any mortgage that's backed by basically HUD or Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all the big institutions like that, you couldn't foreclose, period. The lenders just couldn't do it. I was talking with a very prominent bankruptcy attorney who does foreclosures and whatnot. And he said, Nate, as soon as that thing is lifted, there are bankers right now with daggers behind their back ready to pounce. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty strong language. Are you sure? He's like, yeah, absolutely. They're calling my office all the time. They're trying to figure out how they can foreclose. Well, when this foreclosure freeze lifts, it's supposed to lift within the next 10 days. Okay, July 31st, 2021. Now, could they move the line in the last second like Congress passed or something like that, or presidential executive order? Sure, they could. They might. But eventually it's going to lift. And then what happens is that there's a lot of homeowners that are in a position that they didn't know about because for the last year and a half, they perhaps haven't been paying their mortgage and they don't know what to do right now. And it takes people like you and I to be educated on what to do, how to serve them, how to help them. It takes people like you and I to get in front of them so that they call us, so that they know who to talk to, so that they know how to get served. And that's where this whole social media bridge comes in. That's where we can get people to come to us, raising their hand, literally asking for help. I'm not chasing people. I'm not. I don't need to. I'd much rather have them come to me. And I would like the same for you. If you want to see your businesses take off, switch that mindset, switch that thinking, and start to get them to come to you by executing what we're talking about here tonight. Okay. Melody says, yes, she has a compassion to help these people. Awesome, Melody. Awesome. Truly true. How do you do inspections virtually? I virtually zoom into the house. I'm just kidding. Sometimes what we'll do, truly true, is this. By the way, I've heard some of your singing, man. You got a voice. You got to put that talent to work, my friend. I'm sure you do in some way, shape, or form, but you got a voice. What I do is I ask sellers if they've got a video or a messaging app on their phone, like WhatsApp. If they've got WhatsApp, or if they've got an iPhone, or if they have Skype, sometimes what you can do is do a video walkthrough. And that just kind of starts the party, so to speak. And then once you're comfortable with what you've seen through that, or you can have them send you photos, there's different ways to do it. But once you have comfort on that, then you would engage in the contract and then send an actual licensed inspector. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm never going to inspect. It just means that up front, I don't need to. I don't need to go walk the property. Neither does your buyer. Frankly speaking, a lot of buyers right now, almost all of our transactions are with serious buyers, not like the people that are like, oh, I got to come walk it. No, serious buyers that either send usually their contractor, property manager, and or inspector to the property. So like that's how they'll physically do it. They send professionals on their behalf. Okay, cool. Kingdom. Who's Kate Kung Fu? Kate Kung Fu? You guys know Kate? Kate Kung Fu? Yeah, she's good. Jeremy says no mailers. No, I don't do mailers. Jeremy, I got a bitter pill in my mouth from mailers. I did a $47,000 direct mail drop, and it was right before the whole situation last year. It was a good time before that, and my return on that was dismal. I lost money on that mailer, and I'm like, what the heck? And nowadays, especially since the whole shakeup, like when I get junk mail, I don't know about you, but when I get junk mail, I'm like, I don't want to touch it. Like it's just a perception thing in my mind, but it's like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to have to wash my hands. Who knows who's coughed on this thing and whatever. And so I don't know, but for me, like the direct mail days, it'll circle back. Everything comes in cycles. It does to a certain degree. It'll circle back eventually. But right now it's being hammered. Everyone's buying the same lists, and they're either cold calling them or they're doing direct mail, just hammering those sellers. So it's no wonder why when a seller gets on the phone and you're like, hey, do you want to sell your property? They're like, no, I don't. Click, and they hang up. Or, yeah, how much are you going to pay me? How much? How much? They won't even have a conversation. It's just how much. Like it's because they've already been hammered by so many people. I don't want that. I want the seller that maybe they're just starting to think about selling, and then they come across one of my organic posts and they're like, you know what? I kind of connect with them. I want to talk to them. I want that seller. I want them to reach out to me and ask me for help, because then I know I can actually serve them. Then I know I'm not going to be in this awful multiple offer situation, or this awful situation where I got to like go in there with a huge earnest money check and tie up a bunch of capital and things like that. I don't want that. I don't want that for you either. Okay. Jeremy says, love you, Nate. Everyone is doing it. Awesome. Yes. Yes. Okay, cool. So I gave you the link for it. So literally socialmediawithnate.com, socialmediawithnate.com. Go there, grab a call spot. I think there's probably like 8 available appointments. And then once they're gone, then they're gone for this round at least. Jeremy's asking a question here. How can we be different, stand out, and be of service? That's my mindset. Yeah, you nailed it. And how can we? We literally, number one, you start with authenticity. Start being by being 100% authentic. Show up real to people. 100% real. People can feel it. They can. They know the difference. The folks that try to like fake everything, like you don't have to fake anything. You just be you. You be real with people. People respect it. One of the students that was in our group today, like he's this, people joke and they call him a hillbilly from down south. He's the kind of guy that like at dinner last night, he said to the server, hey, do you happen to have cow tongue and like a bunch of crazy stuff? And the server's like, what? He was just joking around, being funny. But the thing is that guy right there, he's closing massive deals. He probably closes 2, maybe 3 deals per month, and they're usually between 20 and 40K. I remember a couple months ago when I was with him back in May, and he had closed 2 back-to-back deals that were around 40 to 50K each deal, 1 week and then the next week. And you start to wonder, like, how is it that a guy like that, that's like this reputation of being a hillbilly, how is it like a hillbilly gets so many deals from sellers? Tell you what, that man just shows up and bees him. He is totally himself. The sellers can feel that. And they feel it with you and I too. They feel it. So when it starts like on a social media platform, like right now we're connected on social media. We're not hanging out having coffee, wish we could, but we're doing the next best thing. We're connecting through at least a video connection, and they'll feel you. You just talk real, you tell them how you can serve, and you're there. So that's great question, great point. I am going to pack it up for tonight. I've had a blast tonight. I hope that we can serve you sometime in the future. If we get to do something together, cool. If not, that's totally cool too. Either way, you got my link, socialmediawithnate.com. I got a whole group of students tomorrow. It's the same group. I had them today. I got them tomorrow, and I got them again Saturday. Like, we are rocking this thing. We actually went live in one of my other buyer Facebook groups, and I did a little teaser saying, hey, we're bringing properties tomorrow. So we're getting properties from our students today, and then we're going to sell one of them tomorrow live in the Facebook group, off of a live stream, off of something like this. Like, you think that's possible? It is. It's not science fiction anymore. It's happening. We just sold one on Monday the same exact way. All right, cool guys. We'll catch you next round. Those of you that have already booked a call, I see a lot of people who book calls. Awesome. Looking forward to chatting with you more and giving an audit on your business. Thanks. God bless. Bye.
Bianco. Te vas a bañar o me baño. ¿Sí? Dale pues. Para bañarnos de nuevo, ¿vale? Cumpleaños de nuevo. Y así salimos más rápido.
Ciao. Ciao, John. You want to take up there? All right. Ciao, John. Woo.
I'm coming up there, John. Can't wait for me. What idea? I climb up there every day, then you know that?
Yeah. Got your head socket?
Yeah. You guys are actually running it up. And sure, that I don't think. Middle row?
Whatever he sees his brother doing, he wants to do.
Anyway, it's like we're going to learn and about, boy, what do you think that?
Boy, guys, look at the sunset.
I want to see the sunset. Sunset.
There's a little coin in here, Papa. Here, Papa.